Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome and thank you so very much for joining me. I am Kim Serafini, the founder and CEO of Positive Prime. It's one of our really amazing businesses. It's so much fun, meaningful, really significant, and I hope we're making a substantial, positive and enduring difference in literally, it's got to be hundreds of thousands of people's lives now as we create ripple effect. Today we're going to be incredibly focused on really something that feels like an orientation to Positive Prime. So yes, we really do have an outstanding, scientifically proven, valid, loved technology. And I love being really the creator of this. And what I suppose really makes me all fizzy is that we share it. Actually, we share it far and wide. And most people know that we have a consumer platform for everyday, ordinary, normal, wonderful people like you and me. And we use it for our individual purposes, for our own benefits and advantages. We also have a huge professional, corporate and business division where we go and create Positive Prime sessions, which are really like these amazing resources or tools for other people to use in learning and development, coaches, therapists, etc., etc. Today, we're actually going to focus on me and you and what we want out of it for ourselves in a private sense, in a very personal sense, okay? So this is not really a conversation about how do we actually leverage it and harness it for commercial purposes or for some kind of public purpose, okay? So you're going to see inside my account and you're going to see some of the wacky and wild aspects to me. So it requires me to be a bit vulnerable and explain what, why, how. So Positive Prime works, okay? It works, the effects last for about 6 to 8 hours. That's what we've been able to determine through the research that we were very generously involved with because of the graciousness of Sean Acor and what he did ostensibly for the Oprah Winfrey Network when we were included in the Science of Happiness course. And it's kind of important to put that into perspective. What makes Positive Prime infinitely more powerful and more potent for you is actually personalization or editing a standard singular piece of content. So for those of you who don't know, but of course you must know by now, a session is a collection of about 1,000 frames, and every single time you press play, it kind of reshuffles the deck and you see images and words in different orders every single time you rewatch a particular session. It's doing marvelous, absolutely fantastic things to your brain. It's making you more creative. It's helping you to decide more easily. It's helping actually the decisions that you make to be more accurate. And there's a lot of research around really the underpinnings of why positive priming is such an exciting, revolutionary frontier in the social sciences, the psychological sciences, and certainly what are we learning about our particular piece of software really from a neuroscience perspective. But I want for you to be able to achieve what you're committed to in an amplified and accelerated way. And in order to do that, you really must, it's kind of critical, it's certainly essential, you must personalize a Positive Prime session. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what I mean by that. So bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to go and share my screen. And if you've got any questions or any comments, or you want to let me know where you go, I love this Zoom video conferencing meeting facility. It's just fantastic. But I want you to make sure that in this particular gathering, I'm addressing any of your issues or your concerns or your suggestions or so forth. So let me just go and share here for a moment. I'm actually logged in to Positive Prime to my own account, okay? So I want you to all make a note of this. If you want to go straight to the software platform, you go to app.positiveprime.com, app.positiveprime.com, app.positiveprime.com. You don't actually need to go to the front end website, which is positiveprime.com, and then go and click login. You can go straight to app.positiveprime.com and essentially log in. let me just do a little tour. So up here to the right is actually your account area, and this is where you log out at the end of a session. Here is where it shows how many credits that you have earned, either through referring others or via viewing. Down here we have a great navigation. I'm going to suggest that everybody goes here to the science area and learns a lot more about how and why positive prime sessions actually do work. There's an enormous amount of fascinating information there for the truly curious. And I think that when you really understand a whole heap better, you actually are going to make the most of and the best of this particular experience for you. Now, having said that, okay, so let's just say you wanted to share positive prime with somebody. You really want to go to the settings area, and you actually want to go and find out what is your referral code, and you can update your code if you like. Anyway, back to the dashboard. The dashboard is where you constantly want to be. Now, you can see that because I am a VIP or indeed a signature member, I actually am rewarded with special super mixes. And that's a collection of sessions that have been merged together to create one giant, amazing mega session. And that's where, because of the shuffling function, I can actually watch a lot of content that's really stimulating my other than consciousness. And it's absolutely in this incredible, I kind of feel like it's an alchemy pot, lots of different sessions that are actually interwoven into each other. But we're here today to talk about editing. So if you are a premium member or you are a signature member or a VIP member, what will happen is you will see here this blue button, edit session. Can you see down here within this play area? So this edit session button appears only if you are a paying subscriber. So you can upgrade it any time you like. Now, if you're a paying subscriber, you'll be able to click this edit. Now, why would you want to edit a session, any session? And here in your drop-down menu, you basically, in this play area, you click this. And when you've got lots of sessions, as I do in your library, and you've built your library up, you'll be able to choose a particular session that you want to edit, and you edit each individual session individually or separately, okay? So we're just going to concentrate on this one, health is wealth collection. Or maybe actually, you know what? I'm going to do financial master super mix because that's one of the ones I'm focusing on at the moment. As you can see, I'm interchanging. I'm watching the financial master super mix, and I'm also watching the health is wealth super mix. So I'm going to edit this session, but I want to show you what I'm going to edit it with. Okay, so what do you want to upload? Well, you definitely want to upload photographs of yourself, okay? And when you see a photograph of you popping up, I want you to actually look further than, beyond and deeper than just the physical experience of you, just your appearance. I want you to see the you who is just a magnificent, beautiful human being, one who's kind and caring and trying, one who's committed to making your life better and other people's lives better. I want you to see your soul. I want you to see your strengths and your gifts and your talents. I don't actually want you to really judge whether you think that physical appearance is appealing or not. Go deeper. Be much more committed to seeing the real you, your actual spirit. See your potential. Look at a photograph of you. I'll give you an example. It might be one where you're slightly overweight, and just soften and be more gentle and compassionate as you look at that photograph of you and say, you know what? I'm so grateful for that beautiful person who is me, because do you know what? They get to live, and that's a real privilege. Okay, and I'm looking at that particular image of me, and I might be slightly overweight, and I might feel a little bit uncomfortable about that, but I might say that beautiful soul wants to actually become healthier. And so I'm going to look at that, and I'm going to imagine that I'm sending all this positive energy to that version of me who really wants to be a better version of me, a happier, healthier, more vibrant, more energetic, stronger version of me, etc., etc. You definitely want photographs that are going to actually trigger this feeling inside of you that you are indeed amazing and you have so much to be grateful for, and you've been blessed, you've been incredibly fortunate, you've been lucky. You need lots of different photographs that actually trigger you and remind you just how incredible life has already been to you. Now, I'm not saying that we haven't all had trauma or drama or really significant, devastating, heartbreaking issues. We actually all have, right? But we're actually accessing our other than consciousness when we're watching a positive prime session. And we want to remind ourselves of the highlights of our life. Okay, so if you've ever achieved something, I'll give you an example. I've got a photograph of me the day that I was graduating. Now, clearly, because I'm in my mid to late 40s, that was a long time ago, over 20 years ago, right? And I look at that young woman and I think, wow, you know what? She had no idea. I mean, really and truly, she had no idea what was ahead of her. And she had no idea just how hard and difficult the journey was going to be at times. But she also didn't know at that moment just how incredibly lucky she was. I was so fortunate and privileged, and, you know, seriously. But you know what it also reminds me of when I see that photograph? I see the girl who actually really wanted to make something of her life, and she was committed to actually graduating. I see the girl who accomplished something that she set out to do. She finished something. And that actually triggers my other than consciousness into bringing up all of the other resources that I need and all of the other beliefs that I need that prove to me that I am capable of finishing what I started, that I'm capable of following through, I'm capable of committing and completing. And maybe you need that too. So you need to find photographs of, you know, like that. And then you can actually make sure that your particular positive prime session, your private collection of personal photographs, really turns each of these experiences into a real gratitude, mindfulness exercise, as well as a creative visualization exercise, right? So you definitely want lots of images that are about you and your bucket list. And you want to continually upload images as you start to be inspired by more and varied things that you want to do with your life or people you want to do that with. Now, from a business perspective, this is where it gets really super powerful. So I'm gonna tell you something, right? I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna explain to you. So there is a particular internet show that I love, and it's hosted by a man by the name of Tom, and it's called Impact Theory. And I have long thought, I wonder what it'd be like to be the kind of entrepreneur who's invited to actually appear on the Impact Theory. And then I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful, considering Positive Prime is so amazing, wouldn't it be wonderful if I was on the Impact Theory show so that I could actually share Positive Prime, particularly because people can now join for free, with a much wider audience? Wouldn't that be wonderful? And I thought, how do I manifest that? How do I make it real so my other than consciousness can accept it and it can actually become a part of my vibration, and then my frequency rises, and then from a manifestation point of view, I've actually really amplified and I'm accelerating the arrival, and I'm actually reorchestrating. I'm sending messages to the universe. I'm communicating with the quantum field, and I'm saying, hey, this is what I want. Now, can you actually see there's me down here in the bottom right? Well, the truth is I haven't yet been on the Impact Theory show, right? But I want to. It's my desire. It's my hope and wish and dream. It's a goal. It's something I'm working towards. And you know what? What better way to bring it into being than have my other than consciousness see it and remind myself that this is one of my goals, right? So I'm going to show you what I did here. I went to that Impact Theory in Google Images, and I actually found this, and I did a screenshot and I sent it to our graphic design team. And I also sent a photograph of myself, and I said, hey, will you do me a favor? Will you please Photoshop my face and put it in here so that I can look at this and I go, oh wow, I sit alongside Simon Sinek, or I sit alongside. Now, funnily enough, I've actually worked with and I know Gabby Bernstein. I've actually worked and I know, and of course Marissa Peer is also here, and she's got a positive prime session as well. I know who Kelly McGonigal is. I actually really admire and respect her. Some of the others, of course, I love Les Brown. I don't actually know them all that well, right? But I put myself in here, And so now I've got to upload that into my personal, but you know what? I went one step further. I found a photograph online where Tom's actually with another woman. Now, this is not my body and it's not my hair. This is not my jacket. These are not my legs, but that is my face. Now, I'm going to actually feel what it feels like to be there. I want to imagine what it feels like. What's the emotions of having Tom with his hand on my shoulder? And I've just done an awesome interview and I've shared Positive Prime and the light shining on it. And it's all absolutely extraordinary. It's spectacular. It's been fun. I've been playful and really effective. Okay. And I'm really having the impact, or Positive Prime's having the impact that I want it to have. Guess what? We go even further, right? So I thought I need to see me and I need to see this up, you know, bright and close and, you know, so forth. So I'm going to show you what I would do. So I have these images created by my graphic design team, right? Now they've sent them to me. So I want you to know that I'm going down here and I'm adding a new image, right? This is where I upload. So I add a new image and I go over here and I choose a file, and I've already got it in my Finder, in my iCloud. So I'll go here, and do you know what? This is so important to me that I actually created duplicates of these particular images. So can you see that I've got each one of these twice? So now let me just open these, and what's happening is the Positive Prime software is uploading these photographs from effectively my folder, and now I'm going to upload them, right? I love this. And as soon as they're uploaded, I'm going to select them and I'm going to save them into this particular session. And so the next time I watch this session, these images are going to pop up. And then when I watch it again the following day, so let's just go up here. Can you see? Are they here? They're here. Look at this. Yay. They're here. Now, you know what? I'm also applying for a grant from our state government to actually provide some capital to do some research and development on Positive Prime and actually some scaling and some marketing in the local corporate environment. And so I actually created a beautiful statement. Well, actually, I had one of my graphic designers do this, but you could do this through Canva, or there are lots of other apps that you can use, or you can actually go to Fiverr, or you could have us do this if you want us to do this. It's just an extra charge. And interestingly enough, I actually created 6 or 5 duplicates of one, and it says I have been awarded the Ignite Ideas grant. And so you can see that it's here a couple of times, right? I have been awarded the Ignite Ideas grant. So it's pretty amazing what's possible here. So if I just select all, or if I deselect all and I actually go in here and then I click it again, what's going to happen is it's going to save it into this session. So I'm just going to go down here and I'm going to save. But I was on a roll. I really was on a roll. And I was so excited. And so I actually thought, you know what? I'm going to, we'll just wait for that to work. My computer is having a little delay. It's having a little sleep given what's actually going on because of Zoom. Zoom's funny. So anyway, I'll tell you in here, I actually, and I'll go back a step. So this is an example. I went to Google and I Googled Ellen and Sigourney Weaver. One of the reasons why is because somebody actually suggested quite a long time ago that I look a little bit like Sigourney Weaver. Okay, I don't know whether that's true or not. Doesn't matter, yes or no. But anyway, I would love to be on the Ellen show. I really would. I'd love, with Positive Prime and our professional community particularly, and all of our members, if one day we actually have a day of kindness, of paying it forward, of positively priming ourselves and going out there and sharing positively priming as a concept and as a tool and as a, you know, something that really helps and supports people. And so I have these visions and these dreams and visualizations, and so I actually got this particular idea from my friend Dana Wild. So she'd done something similar. So I found this photograph and I basically right click it, just as you do. And I basically copied the image, and then I went over to Skype and I actually went and shared it. And I said, hey, John, do you reckon you could do this one for me, please? Which means take the photograph and actually then go and pop my face in there, right? So this is the photograph. Ready? And that's me. See that? That's the photograph. And then that's me. That's the photograph. And then that's me. And so I can go back here now that I've actually saved that, right? And I can go back down here and I can add a new image and I can go and choose that, because of course it should be here in my iDrive again. And I'm pretty sure I probably did it at least twice. I did, look at that. There we go, that's me twice. So now let me open that. Let me go and upload that. And it's going to appear in my private collection. And as you can see, I've got like 162 pages. Now, interestingly enough, I've actually got my graphic design team working on a little bit of an upgrade to this particular area of Positive Prime. So I dare say the graphic designers are also in there as well as the software engineers are in there. But you can see I've just uploaded a couple. So I'm going to select them all and then I'm going to go and save them. Alrighty. And before we actually leave here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you a few examples of some of the images that I have uploaded over the last year. And I really try to refresh it because from a neuroscience perspective, our brain really needs novelty, right? So we actually need something new. I have uploaded beautiful photographs of our home. So let's just go down here. Let's go. What are the first couple of photographs? Well, okay, so this is my mom. These are the women in our family. This is Professor Stephen G. Post. This is Paul Shealy and me. This is Mike Dooley and me. That's my signature. That's me graduating. I'm going to tell you a little story. See this particular image here. Let me blow it up a little bit. Tell me if you can actually see this. Let's come down here. Just tell me in the group, in the chat, if you will. Do you know, I'm going to tell you also, see this photograph of the clouds and the blue sky? I think that these are like angel wings. And one day I was going for a walk and I asked for a sign. And all of a sudden I looked up and there were these beautiful angel wings. And it was just one of the most poignant moments of my life. And I took a photograph because I had my iPhone with me because I was walking. And every single time I see that, it reminds me that the universe loves me and that God has my back. And that all I need to do is continually look for signs. And I am guided, and I am blessed. And so this particular photo is actually very important to me. So tell me in the chat, can you see this photograph with Ariana Huffington and Oprah Winfrey? Can you? Yes, brilliant. All right, so let me tell you a story. This particular photograph I actually saw in a magazine or an article online, and it was something about really influential women. This is Amelia Earhart, you know, the pilot. And what is amazing is that I had uploaded this photograph years before I then became involved in a project with these two ladies. So Sean Acor's O Course with Oprah on the Science of Happiness, for which Positive Prime is the tool that Sean selected, and he could have chosen any other intervention that was available anywhere in the world. But there is nothing like Positive Prime on the planet, not at this stage. And in order for Positive Prime to be included in his O course, do you know what's really interesting is that the Oprah Winfrey Network is who effectively was the instigator and the facilitator of the requirement that we were actually studied so that we knew that Positive Prime actually worked. So it's called researching its efficacy. And Sean and his colleagues actually did that efficacy research for us that proved scientifically that Positive Prime sessions do indeed positively prime the brain, right? Now, here's the amazing thing. Oprah had invited Ariana Huffington, but Sean Acor would never have known Oprah had Ariana Huffington not invited Sean to be a part of her Thrive O course. True story. I met Sean because I sent him an email saying, hi, my name's Kim Serafini. I'm the founder of a very small, fast-growing startup in tech, and we are all about positive psychology and bringing it to life and making it really accessible and affordable, you know, for people all over the world. And I'd really like to show you what I'm doing. And we've been testing cortisol changes and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I got a response from Sean. He's like one of the busiest human beings on the planet, but he is so humble and so professional. He actually responded to my email personally, clearly because he was intrigued and clearly because he went to the website and he had a little bit of an investigation about who I am. But he responded within a couple of days. And so at the time I actually first met him on Skype, absolutely true story, he was in Ariana Huffington's home in New York, in her penthouse. And in the room was Kobe Bryant and Oprah Winfrey, and they were a part of Ariana Huffington's Thrive O course. And it was through that interaction, because of Ariana's introduction to Oprah, that Sean got his own O course. And if we go back a step, Sean and Michelle had done a very particular piece of research with Ariana and Martin Seligman from UPenn, the father of positive psychology. I am here to tell you that I fundamentally believe that because my other than consciousness in the gap was constantly seeing this image of Oprah and Ariana in my positive prime sessions, because of my personalization, that the rest of my life changed fundamentally, and I am the beneficiary of the most remarkable circumstances and situations and coincidences and serendipity and synchronicity that, I mean, I couldn't possibly have orchestrated that, even if I'd been incredibly powerful and influential and had unlimited resources or infinite resources, financial resources, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It took magic. Miracles do happen, but I honestly believe they don't happen unless we harness the power of accessing our other than consciousness in the quantum field, and that we communicate in a particularly positively primed state, communicating with the universe. Does that make sense? Right? Hello, Brittany. Thank you for sharing that. Hi, Jean. Hi. Thanks. Thanks, Donna. Okay, so true story. Now, here's the interesting thing. When I watch a positive prime session, so we're just going to go back here. So you can see this is me and Marcy Scheimer from Chicken Soup for the Women's Soul, and she wrote a beautiful book called Happy for No Reason. This is Howard Martin and me in his boardroom. He was one of the co-founders of Heart Math. And look, I could go on and on and on. Of course, this is me and Christine Carlson in Toronto, and when we went to go and have dinner with Robin Sharma. And of course, this is me with Sean. This is me with Jack Canfield. This is me on stage speaking. Gosh, I loved that day. This is me and a beautiful friend of mine, Annette Sem, really, really, really successful author. And so I have all of these photographs for a reason, right? This is one of my best friends. This is my brother and my niece. This is my mom and me. This is Deborah Poneman. Gosh, she's a divine human being. This is me and my niece, Lucy. This is my dad. So I have all of these beautiful images. I mean, everybody knows, if they've been around the Positive Prime community for quite a long time, that I just absolutely think that Stephen Post is one of the most divine human beings on the entire planet. Like, he's just, there's just no one like him. This is a photo of me when I was super skinny and super fit and super young and super amazing when I lived in London, worked in the corporate world, right? Now, let's just go here and I'll see what's on page 155. We'll just, so this is my beautiful Cameron. This is actually one of our favorite restaurants. And this reminds me, of course, that I'm very, very, very lucky that I get to go. Actually, you know what? It's Valentine's Day today here in Australia. That's when we're recording it. See this? This is the Nautilus. Our home is actually in the shape of the Nautilus, but my parents actually bought this for me as a really precious gift. And so every time I see this, I just think, you know what? I am so lucky. This is the view from our bedroom. This is the koala here at our hideaway retreat at Nautilus. This is actually a pathway I walked along up at Sea Ranch with my beautiful friend Christine. But you know what's up here? Here are images Like this is actually from the Tiffany's website of a ring that one day I might like to buy myself. These are actually other photographs. So these are a combination of images that mean something to me, and actually they're kind of like my ideal. So these are images that I probably actually gathered from going to a particular beautiful hotels websites, and I'm saving images of places that I might want to visit, right? So I don't know, let's just go up here and let's see what's up here. So this is actually a photograph of my own crystal angels and my own golden pyramids that are here in my office. This is actually, can you see this? I thought that was an eye and a nose and a mouth, and this is a piece of wood that we had for our fireplace, and this is our pussycat, this is Willow, and this is also Willow, and this is my little nephew, and this is Willow again. And every single time we see the cat, this is Cameron and his dad when we recently went to Canberra. I had a Christmas party here at our house, and this is the lovely lady who did all of the decorations. And this is Cameron up at his shed on his new Walker lawnmower. And then I had our graphic designers create all of these heal thyself, and I'm trademarking that, and I'm actually using it as a brand, because to be healthy in myself really means that my body's constantly healing thyself. And I just love that. This is actually near where we live. All right, so you're getting the idea, right? You're getting the idea? Now let's go back over here. Are there any questions before we say goodbye? All righty. Are there any questions before we say goodbye? Let me go down here to the financial super mix. Let me just press watch now. Now this is a massive, 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 massive. How do you get the picture groups numbered like that? When you upload 50 photographs, or no, let me give you a better example. When you upload 100 photographs, each page is actually worth 50 photographs each in your private collection. All right. So is there a format that's required for the upload? Great question. Usually a JPEG is the best idea, not huge files. Internet available files or size is a much better idea. You can, if you like, use, I'm just going to say JPEGs. JPEGs are actually best. This is like, there are, in this particular session, there would be something like, well, it's 5 sessions mixed and merged together, so that's 5,000. And then I've got about 6,000 of my own images in there. So this is a session with about 10,000 images, right? How do you get images that you like, that you've seen in other sessions? That's a very good question. All of the images that we use in all of our sessions, we actually have the rights to have them within the Positive Prime environment, which is a safe and secure environment. I'm going to suggest that for your personal and private collection, you don't really want any of the images that are associated in any of the other sessions that are part of the standard Positive Prime session. Or are you actually saying, what do I do to personalize each individual session? It actually means that you need to put each individual session into the dashboard. In fact, you know what, I'm going to abort this for a second. Let's go back to the dashboard. We're going to skip this. All right, so let's just say those images that I just uploaded would be really, really great for the Positive Prime Confidence session that I have, right? So I would go in and I would choose that session, and I can see up here Positive Prime for Confidence, so I know that this is the one that I'm going to actually edit right now. And can you see that these are the images? So I would go and put a little tick in here and here and here and here, and I would actually save these particular images just for this particular session. Does that make sense? Save. So now I've got those particular images in this particular session. In all sessions, so this is the confidence session. In all sessions, I have photographs of myself and our cat and my family and so forth. So let's just go, what are we doing here? We're doing confidence. Let me go down here to page 162. And let me see, I've actually gone and ticked all of these because this actually makes me feel confident. You know, I've done a great deal with Jack Canfield. I was really, 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 really in the right place at the right time, when my beautiful friend Robert McPhee actually literally caused this introduction to happen, made it happen. So you can see that I've actually, so this is me when I was living in Paris as a young woman, and I've actually got photographs of me inside the session. So I always have photographs of me inside every single session. You can see that they're selected. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's just go back here to the dashboard. Okay, so, alrighty. I want to show you all something that, let me just choose a particular session that I know I haven't really heavily changed. Empower Your Beliefs by Lion Goodman. You know what? I'm about to do an interview with him. So there are very few people who I really, 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 really rate. Like, I actually think that they walk their talk. I don't think they're full of BS. I think that they actually provide decent value, and I think that they can actually deliver what they claim that they can. He's one of them. I've actually asked him if we can have a special offer for Positive Prime, and the answer is yes. All right, so let's go here. I kind of want to show you something. I'm going to go here to the run time, and I'm going to change it to 5 minutes, and I'm going to load it. Okay. Now, let's just say I'm loading this and I want to watch this, but actually the truth is I probably want my brain waves to be supported by some gamma wave music. Can you actually see up here in another tab? I have YouTube open. Let's just see what loads here. And can you see that I've gone up here and Googled gamma music for meditation? And this is something with 11 million views: activate brain to 100% potential, genius brain frequency, gamma binaural beats. Binaural beats actually means you should really listen to this with headphones in, stereo headphones, so you listen to the left and the right. But anyway, let me just press play. So now I have this music playing, okay? Let me go back. All right, let me pause that. Let me go back here. So can you hear that there's different music? But let's just say I don't want to hear this particular music in this particular experience. I'll go here and mute it. All right, so I've muted this music. When I watch a session, I watch it very quickly to begin with, so I can access my other than consciousness, so I can stimulate and activate it, okay? The super consciousness, the way beyond the conscious and the subconscious, right? Now, I'll watch it quickly, either for 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes, and then I'll come back, and in run time, I might actually then put 5 minutes, or I might actually then put 30 minutes. It depends. This is a fantastic session and I love it. But I might want a little bit of music. I could either go straight to my iPhone and I could actually turn on Spotify and I could play, I don't know, the best mix of the 80s and 90s. Should we do that? Chilled classics. Okay, I used to love Cyndi Lauper. That's hilarious. So the interesting thing is that I can listen to whatever I like that's going to actually raise my mood and uplift me whilst I'm watching a session. Well, whilst I'm watching this, I can be in gamma wave. So I can go back here and I can press play. Now, the truth is, because we're actually on Zoom, it's really difficult because the music doesn't play through properly, okay? So it doesn't come through the speakers from my, you know, Apple Cinema screen and go into the Zoom recording. So, but you get the idea, right? Don't you? Yes. Okay. Alrighty. Any other questions? Let me just go back here and see. No need, so there must have been a question. Do you have to open a session to upload pictures? How do you click on it without opening a session? Start the session. Okay, so that's a great question. Maybe I do need to go back and share for a second. Let me go back here. And let me go back to Positive Prime. Alrighty, I'm going to click out of full screen. By the way, did everybody see that I clicked over here to make it full screen? When you go back to the dashboard, let's just skip this for a second. In order to edit a particular session, let's just say now Empower Your Beliefs is one I want to edit. I have to select it in here, okay? And then I click edit once it appears in the play area. And so now it confirms that Empower Your Beliefs is the one that I'm actually going to select. Now, I might not want to go and individually collect these. I might just want everyone here, and then I might actually go to page 2, and I might go and select everything in page 2, and then I might go here to page 141, and I might go and select everything on that page, and then I might go to 155, or I don't know, anything else, and go see what's on there. Oh, these are great photos, so I might go and select those, select everyone on this page, all 50 of those. And then, of course, I definitely want to see if I don't have any of these selected, so I'm going to select all of these, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to save them. Okay, and so then that was saved. So now, basically, it says up here, oh, what happens is it refreshes after you press save. And so see how these are now ticked? It's still Empower Your Beliefs. So I'll go back over here. I'll click dashboard. It's in here, and now I can go and watch it. And I know that this is the one that I've edited with my personal photos from my private collection. And of course, this is brilliant. Let me go back to the questions, shall I? Questions. It's interesting, isn't it? Go back to chat. I'm navigating the Zoom little dashboard here for me for a second, and sometimes it's just not as easy as I want it to be. Okay, so I will tell you that sometimes the music in a Positive Prime session has a delayed start and it loops for, so if you've gone into runtime and you've put, I don't know, 30 minutes in runtime or 45 minutes in runtime, because that's, you know, how slowly you'd like it to play for. The music just basically continues going around and around on the loop, alrighty? Sometimes some people's internet connections, particularly if they're using data whilst they're moving around, whilst they're out and about, like it could be really slow where you are, or there could be interruptions. And so sometimes there's a little bit of a glitch, and that's actually probably because of the speed of the internet wherever it is that you are. Sometimes I find that when I stay in hotels in the United States, the internet connections are appalling. Alrighty. So you don't have to pick particular pictures or specific pictures that are related to the topic. The answer is no. No. I would say that you turn every single session into a combination of a celebration of you and your life, a gratitude journal, and a vision board. And you use the process. Like what'll happen is I'll sit in front of a Positive Prime session and I will actually do my energy work, and I'll say, yes, and thank you, and please allow this and anything that's even better, that's in the best interests of my higher self and the future me that I am becoming. Or I'll do some kind of little ritual that reminds me, this is an exquisite experience that is very self-nurturing. This is an act of self-love, and this is a way to honor me and this beautiful temple and my life and my future. And, you know, I am really quite good at ensuring that I watch several Positive Prime sessions several times a day, certainly as I'm waking up. And there'll be some Saturdays where I have a little bit of extra time and I will literally luxuriate in watching a Positive Prime session for 2 hours. You know, it might be actually mirrored onto my big screen through my Apple TV, and I might be doing some other things in the kitchen, and every time I look up over those 2 hours, Positive Prime's playing. You know, that's a whole heap better for me than some other rubbish. To add new statements. Okay, great question. Interestingly enough, what you want to be able to do is probably create JPEGs. So you create your own graphic of your own statements. I have just uploaded something to a Positive Prime Facebook group about the way that you craft statements. I may do another one of these that really specifically talks about statements and how do you write self-fulfilling prophecies and mantras, and how do you make sure that your other than consciousness actually really gets the messages that you want it to get, so that you live into the becoming, and so that your marvelous mind goes off in searches and answers really good quality questions, So, you know, if you want to use our services, get in touch with Mayumi and we can actually do that, you know, photoshopping of you into a particular, we're happy to do that, right? But the reality is that it requires our staff to probably work some overtime or some extra time or devote some time to you as a client, just from a graphic design point of view. Admittedly, we're probably better at this because we know what we're doing. But, you know, we charge for it. So just get in contact with Mayumi and just say, hey, you know what, this is what I'd like. And she'll just tell you what the hourly rate is and you organize it. It's all pretty. Can you use lofty questions as well as statements? Thanks, Nadine. Great question. The truth is yes. Yes. Okay, so speed. Absolutely yes. Your other than conscious is taking in 11 million bits of information per second. Okay, your other than consciousness is definitely absorbing all of what you are actually presenting to it. And so it doesn't matter whether you're out in Times Square looking at all the billboards or whether you're scrolling through, you know, one of the interesting things, I should actually mention this, you know, someone says to me about, you know, Instagram or Facebook, because you haven't curated everything so that it's really affirming and empowering and enriching as you're scrolling, your other than consciousness is also picking up the drama in other people's lives, the catastrophes, the fears, the worries, the criticisms, the judgments, the complaining, the everything, right? It's picking up everything. So, you know, you want to be very careful at the speed at which you scroll through something like Instagram or Facebook, because it could be seriously detrimental to your mental health, your physical health, and your emotional health, and absolutely completely devastating if you are really striving for some quite ambitious goals. That's just the truth, okay? That's the way our brains work. You've got to be very careful about what you expose yourself to. That's the truth. All right. Can you remove an image that comes with a session? In short, no. And I'm actually going to say something that could be considered quite controversial here. We receive regular emails to support asking us to remove Black people. No joke. We get requests. Can you please remove people of Islamic faith? Can you please remove images that are suggestive of homosexuality? And I just think, no, you can go and find another technology because you are not welcome here. Seriously. This is an inclusive, collaborative, compassionate, global community. And everybody needs to feel like they are safe and welcome here. Everybody. The world is truly, truly spectacular. And it requires all of us. My friend Patty Krummer actually does a whole workshop on the mosaic effect, when we all combine our idiosyncrasies and our amazingly different talents and skills and strengths. We create masterpieces. Like all of us are the shards that actually all come together and create a beautiful mosaic, right? So let me give you an example that's actually much more real, okay? I am not a mother. I have always wanted to be a mother ever since I can remember. I had cancer of the uterus, and I had a procedure, and I believed as a result of that that it was impossible for me to ever fall pregnant. And because we actually adopt strong beliefs, particularly when they're served to us by those we respect and admire, and particularly when we're in highly intense emotional states, those beliefs almost are like set in concrete. And so I believed I could not fall pregnant. And then a couple of years ago, I had a really critical, life-threatening situation here at home where the ambulance was called. They nearly lost me, and I go to the hospital and I'm in the emergency department, and a couple of hours later they come in and they say, "We're so sorry. We're so sorry you've lost your baby." I said, "Pardon? What did you say?" Never in a gazillion years did I ever expect to hear that. I didn't even know I was pregnant. I didn't even believe I could ever fall pregnant. I was shocked, devastated, surprised, and then weirdly delighted because my golly gosh, my body can fall pregnant. Wow. Like, wow. And you know what I'd been doing is something similar like this in coaching with some private clients. And there was photographs inside Positive Prime sessions, quite a few of them, of little cute babies' feet. And there was another one of like a baby's rattle. And there was another one of like this mother with this baby in the arm, and this nurturing and this unconditional bond. And I can look at some images like that and I can feel incredibly hurt. I can feel betrayed by life and God. Or I can actually choose consciously my perception of those images. And I can actually know for a fact that the way that Positive Prime works is that because I lived in Paris, and I love Paris, and I love the French, and I love France, and Serafini is Italian, and so I love the romances, and I love, that kind of part of the world. What actually happens, and I say this a lot as an example, I can see a photograph of the Eiffel Tower right next to a baby, and because the theme or the flavor of my emotion towards something related to Paris is then associated with a child, I can actually have a bridge that is love and compassion, not anger and rage and disappointment and et cetera, right? Now, here's the craziest thing on the planet. We actually create Positive Prime sessions for clients, right? They could be quite famous sporting stars, or they could be quite famous entertainment stars. And we create very, very, custom bespoke sessions, just like we do for professionals. And I created one for a woman who really, 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 really wanted to become a mother. And guess what? I fell pregnant again, another 2 times. Okay, and I had miscarriages. And yes, that's very sad. And yes, I've had to do a lot of processing. Unless, yes, sometimes I can go walking along the beach and I can see a really happy young family, and I can see that they've got these gorgeous, happy, healthy little babies. And there's a part of me that wonders how amazing my life would be, even more incredible if I had little babies of my own, right? Now, as I get closer to 50, I have less and less and less of that, just because of the realities. So here's the interesting part about that story. There are very, 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 very few ways that images in session should trigger you. And if that is you, I want you to reach out to me, and I want to be there for you to help you to reframe your perspective around a trigger. Please allow me to do that. I'm very happy to do that for you, okay? It's important, and quite frankly, it's actually a really beautiful thing that I can do very successfully, right? I really can help you do that. Ultimately, it'll change the entire trajectory of your life to not have that trigger, whatever that trigger is, okay? Now, some of the ways that our amygdala is actually triggered means that, quite frankly, in some instances, some sessions aren't going to be appropriate for you, right? So if that's you, then get in contact with me and ask me, what's the session that I can watch that's not the one where there are a couple of images in there that are really triggering me. I'll give you an example. Certainly here in Australia, I haven't found this very much. And I've worked and lived in North America. I've worked and lived in Europe. I've worked and lived in Asia. I've worked and lived in the United Kingdom. But I've worked and lived clearly here in Australia. And here in Australia, we have quite an interesting culture that is a little bit anti-religion and anti-politics publicly. So in a workplace, one does not talk about one's spiritual or religious beliefs. We just don't. We don't think it's cool, hip, or happening, and we don't think it's going to advance our careers, whether or not we go to church or not. Okay, it's nobody else's business. And we have this kind of very weird thing that if someone starts to talk about their religion in the workplace, it's just wrong, or it's just not right. It's just weird. So let's just say that you watch a session and there are lots of references to God, but you're not a God person. Well, then don't watch that session. Reach out to me and find out, how do you actually completely and utterly transform your beautiful mind and your brain with content that's similar, but perhaps in a different session? That's my invitation to you. Does that sound reasonable? I hope so. Alrighty. So, do you know what? We've gone a lot longer than I thought that we would, because I really wanted to actually keep this compressed to like 30 minutes, but I hope it's been of value to you. I hope that you will do me a favor and you'll go to the Positive Prime Facebook group, and every so often you'll actually share your own celebration or success or achievement or accomplishment, or even your own insights about the way that Positive Prime is contributing to you positively. And sometimes what will happen is your comments will then show up in somebody else's feed at exactly the right time for the right reasons, and you'll remind them to go and watch a session. And what you're doing as part of the ripple effect is just, it's really, really, really beautiful. And I'd be very grateful for that, okay? So, thank you so much for listening in. And I will look forward to more questions. If I didn't answer your questions, maybe we should have these clinics like once a month where people can come with their questions and I don't actually have to do a tutorial as well. What do you reckon? I think it's a good one. Quickly, Kim, can we edit photos that are included originally on one session? Can we delete photos or delete affirmations that are on a session? I'm not quite sure whether I understand whether that's something to do with your personal or the standard. Anyway, alrighty. Much love to you all. Ciao.